Hey, I'm live. All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? So, I got a new little idea that I came up with, and it's going to be called Man in the Middle. So, the idea behind this Man in the Middle thing is basically trying to be the guy to try to bring a little bit of balance to the conversation, calling out the far left and the far right and their obvious um, mental illnesses or ulterior motives that are easily observable at this point. We've had 4 years of President Trump, so there's all kind of footage throughout this 4 years to point out. So here we go, man in the middle. Uh, in terms of the far left, not a huge fan of the far left. When it's all said and done, I guess they care a lot about transgenderism. Um, they talk about progress all the time, but when you're looking at the social issues or whatever that they talk about, it seems kind of regressive in my opinion. So, one example, legalizing sex work seems a little aggressive. Seems like the oldest occupation in all of mankind, going back to cave women. Um, I mean, to each their own. We live in America, and you can do what you do or whatever. But in all honesty, I thought we had laws against prostitution. So how does this work exactly? Are you trying to sexually objectify people, especially women? Since we've established this pattern with Hollywood. Hi, Harvey Weinstein, and Jeffrey Epstein, taking advantage of little girls, teenagers. We got Joe Biden himself on camera, video footage. Good luck on your debate tonight, by the way, Joe Biden. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun. I'm gonna be watching. Well, I'll be watching. But yeah, we got Joe Biden all the time, on this little video tape footage, fondling these little girls and women too. But it bothers me, these little children, these little girls, he's sniffing on them and rubbing their hair and caressing their. I could probably try to find a couple of these links and I'll post them and you can check out, a video or whatever. And if I can't, then I can't. But you can do some research yourself. It's not very hard to find any of this. So yeah, man, I guess Joe Biden loves the kids a little too much. A little too much. Can't be doing that, Joe. It's wrong. Everybody else, the pedophilia, it's wrong. You don't do that, boys or girls. Okay, stay the hell away from the kids. Don't sexualize the kids. It's very simple. Far left, don't like it. So, anyways, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of the far left. And the far left, they don't really care about people like me at all. They don't care that, that I have family members, nieces, or, a sister. They don't care about this. They don't care about this while they push this crap. So, I saw on Netflix that they put out this cuties movie, and it's from, like always, somebody from France, and it's a black woman from France. And people were arguing, well, you have to give the movie a chance and you have to look at it. And it's actually, this protest about how girls and women are, overly sexualized and all. Look, I saw, the episodes or whatever with Jeffrey Epstein, and I listened to, many of the horror stories of the women, and yes, I did legitimately try to be open-minded and empathetic and, put aside my lack of emotions, or whatever you may call it. Um, because quite frankly, I'm not your emotional tampon. But with all that being said, wrong is wrong and right is right. So no, you don't have to show a whole bunch of little 10-year-old, 9-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old girls, dancing sexually, spreading eagle. Um, there's a scene, these girls are twerking, trying to convince some kind of security guard to get to a certain place. Look, no, you don't do that. You don't. They didn't show all the women being abused by Jeffrey Epstein and these graphic reenactments or anything like. They didn't do that. So I mean, come on. If you really care about the women, hello Netflix, the executives. Let's see who's Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. Yeah, y'all really care about the little girls and all that? Then don't do that shit. Don't do that. You know, but here in America, it's not cool at all. I can't speak for every other country or the world or whatever, but I think we have laws against this crap in America. And with all that being said, a lot of this empty symbolic actions and inactions or whatever. I mean, come on, y'all. Do you want progress or not? What do you want? So, yeah, that's one example. Calling out the far left don't like with Babylon B. You don't protest against killing dogs by blowing out a dog's brains. You don't protest against the over sexualization of girls by having them dancing sexually and spreading ego on a fucking movie. There's something wrong with that. So there's one side. Now the far right, I guess they feed each other. The far left feeds the far right. Just what it appears to be, in my opinion. And everybody has their opinion and they have their motives and their agenda. Okay, that's fine. But I prefer my Prometheus, my agenda, to actually be an honest attempt, to raise awareness and try to solve some of these really complex problems, and not just a whole bunch of empty symbolism. Too many people are getting wrapped up in all this empty symbolic crap, and they're getting lost in it. They're getting lost in it. So, regarding the far right, there's a couple things I could talk about. The McCloskeys. Now, the McCloskeys, not a lawyer, but just using a bit of common sense. The McCloskeys should not be surprised at all with what came to their suburban neighborhood, what came to their house. And long story short, I guess some people broke down the gate. I guess Antifa, Black Lives Matter, or whatever. They went on their property and they were protesting them and doing all that. Now, just to be clear, obviously, I'm not saying it's right, but what I am saying is this much: if the McCloskeys are going to directly donate to Act Blue and to the Democrats, which maybe well, they're already financially backing these rioters, with the bailing out, and et cetera, et cetera. But if you're going to donate to the actual cause that you are a victim of, I mean, what's up with that? Why would you do that? No, people can donate to whatever political party. We live in America. You can be free. Fine. You are not a hero. This is my opinion. My opinion. You're not a hero because you donated to the people and you provided them the resources ultimately to attack you. That's like putting out a bear trap and then the bear comes But instead of the bear stepping in the trap, you jump in front of that bear and then you step on the bear trap yourself. And then you say, "Oh, I'm a victim. Help me. Help me." No. So that's just my personal take on it, regarding the McCloskeys. But when it's all said and done, yes, they have a right to protect their property, in my opinion. They have a right to practice their Second Amendment right. Um, Now, pointing guns at people and, I guess your fingers on the trigger and all that stuff, yeah, it's a little, that's a little much considering that, if you want to financially back the people that you claim you're a victim of, are you really a victim? Or is it just optics? Like 99% of all the politics is all optics. You don't really try to look into the granular details and do deep research and try to actually solve a problem. You know, Policy is usually going towards solving a problem or exacerbating a problem. Politics in and of itself, no, not really. Okay, so that's one example, with the far right, far left. Ilhan Omar, I guess from Project Veritas or whatever, people are getting caught with this big ballot harvesting scheme. Never was a huge fan of this mass mail-in voting and people sending out these mail-in ballots, without your requesting them, which is an absentee ballot, for example. Never been a real huge fan of that. But you doing this mass mail-in voting combined with ballot harvesting is increasing the likelihood of election fraud. And, I took a very, at least at first, non popular stance in saying, okay, well, election um, security is national security. Now, if you may have a rudimentary understanding of foreign policy, then you might understand where I'm coming from. And if you don't, then okay, fine. That's on you. Why don't you go learn something new, huh? But yeah, election security is national security. So um, you were on for that, Ilhan. You were on for that, and then also, there have been here in the state of Texas, the Attorney General Ken Paxton, I believe is his name. But there are a lot of felony charges for, I guess, election fraud going back to what was it, 2018. So, hey, better late than never. I guess that's all I'll just keep saying over and over again. Better late than never, but this was to be expected. Back in 2018, apparently sometimes people can't take a hint. I don't know. I don't know. Ain't nobody, buttering my bread. I ain't getting no checks. So I mean, they don't they got all the money and the resources and all that. Hey, you can't take a hint or whatever. Hey, that's on you, not on me. Okay. But and then yeah, to be fair, the messaging back then, generally speaking, 2018, in my opinion, the messaging sucked. It kind of did a little bit. So, but what happened with Kavanaugh at that time really fired up a lot of people to where Republicans were able to gain seats in the Senate. But if they had done things a little bit differently back then in 2018, they would probably have the House, the Senate, and obviously the presidency. So can't go back in time. We can't go back 2 years. Hopefully they learn from their mistakes and we'll go on for that. So yeah, that's me calling out, the far left right there. It's desperate. It looks like you've already lost. It's almost like you're confessing that you already lost, therefore that's why you're doing such a thing. Um, but hey, this it is what it is. And hopefully, this election right now will have a better security, I guess, so to speak. So going back over to the far right now, it's my understanding that a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse is hero." big hero, all that. Okay, look, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, I don't know all the laws on the books. I didn't take all this extremely expensive and time consuming education, But I do know that Kyle Rittenhouse beat the living hell out of a woman. There's video footage of it, period. So I'm not saying that it's related to the case that's currently going on or anything like that. But what I am saying is that look, that actually looks extremely dangerous. It looks extremely dangerous when you have a young man willing to put his hands on a woman, on a girl. And I don't care if it's the sister. Guys already know you pull them apart. If you're a guy, if you're a real man, these are unspoken rules, okay? That everybody already knows. Just because your sister or some other girl are fighting, don't mean you turn around, sneak up behind the chick, you pussy, okay? Sneak up behind the chick and then start wailing off at her. You don't do stuff like that. Period. And that looks like that it could be a potential setup for a very, very dangerous man in the future. So he, in my understanding, he went across state lines. He had a weapon. He was defending a property that was not his. Now, I don't know 100% confidence wise, but it's my understanding the property owner or whoever, they did not ask him to come and help. They did not ask for their property, their buildings to be defended. But that's just, where I'm at with it because why? I get it that, things are out of control and these politicians are out of control. And I can understand, Kyle Rittenhouse as a young man, he might be a little bit misguided, or he might have just basically taken a vigilante type of stance. Okay. But being a vigilante and you're young like that and you're crossing state lines and you have a rifle type of gun, um, I don't think that a defense lawyer can say, well, look, he was just trying to do the right thing. And, we were just all hoping for it to end up with a kumbaya, my lord. And we were all going to hold hands together and we were going to sing praises and we were all going to celebrate because that would have been the night right there when Kyle Rittenhouse came over there. It would have solved everything. And all the rioting and all the looting would have stopped. The politicians would have listened and the problem would have been solved. I mean, really? Really? If I go to a certain dangerous area with a gun, I'm not expecting that everybody's going to be hugging each other, rainbows and butterflies, and we're all going to be singing Kumbaya, my lord. I'm not going to assume that. Why? Or why else would I bring the gun? So, like I said, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge or anything, but just the optics, the way that it looks, it's really, really terrible, And I mean, look, people on the left gonna do what they're gonna do. People on the right gonna do what they're gonna do. Okay, cool, whatever. You have that freedom in America, but always remember, always and forever, remember, there's video footage of that boy beating the living hell out of a woman, a girl. Period. That's it. End of story. So if people can look at Ahmaud Arbery or whatever and said, "Oh my God, he broke into the construction site. He deserved kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. He brought a gun to school. Kill him, kill him, kill him. He had it coming. He deserved to die. Ahmaud Arbery, I knew he was up to no good." Look, wrong is wrong and right is right. I mean, Ahmaud Arbery did not deserve to die. Yes, it's in the past, but it's just an example of what I'm talking about. It's just too many inconsistencies with certain demagogues and commentators that have 4 years later, their mind is made up. Their mind is made up. Period. So if their mind's made up, then I can have my mind made up to try, at least attempt, to do the right thing. Okay. Um. So yeah, you know, go right ahead and do what y'all do. The Breonna Taylor case was very tragic. It was very sad what happened. Um, Looking into it, it seemed like Breonna Taylor was choosing, choosing, these types of dudes that she wanted to be with. I mean, look, I don't care, okay, how many times whoever's gonna tell you from Hollywood to the powers that be, et cetera. I don't care how many times they're gonna run up to y'all black women and say, "You're a queen. Grab your castle and rule." You have no responsibility for your decisions, for the guys you date, because it is this type of messaging. It is this type of reinforcement. They always want to put a positive reinforcement when somebody doing something wrong. And see, this happens a whole bunch with the black community. Breonna Taylor didn't have to die. She didn't have to. But when you got these people, the powers that be, these culture vultures, they constantly run out here and saying, "Yes, queen, yes, fuck a thug, love a thug." What do you think was going to happen? So don't play stupid. No, she didn't have to die. But at the same time, this is a very sobering message, or a sobering lesson, in particular for black girls and black women, my opinion. Yeah, there are consequences for the guy that you choose to date. There are consequences. And yes, it can come back to haunt you. What was there, a report or whatever that, years ago or whatever, there was a dead body found in a rented car from Breonna Taylor? It was in her name, her receipt. She could have had zero knowledge whatsoever about what happened. But you will still be made to look like an accomplice. You will still be made to look like the bad girl. Why? Because you are with such and such, who is affiliated with such and such. Therefore, since you grouped yourself with such and such that's affiliated with such and such, you have become an accomplice to such and such. This is the type of process critical thinking that will take place. And I'm not saying I'm a lawyer or I know any laws or whatever. It's just trying to use common sense. Um, so yeah, you take that into account. Another thing with Breonna Taylor, her boyfriend or whatever shot first. I guess they had a no knock warrant and they ended up knocking and announcing who they were. But long story short, if somebody's blasting their gun at me, not gonna stand there and just, oh, good luck, and be somebody's target practice. Number one. Number two, it's not between two civilians or a disagreement between, just citizens. These are law enforcement officers. It's their job, something to remember. And yes, police reform or whatever can take place, and we can improve things and teach them negotiating. Spread the negotiating training or de-escalating training. Maybe it's not only going to be applied to certain specialists, but we can kind of divvy it out amongst the officers as part of their training. Just an idea. I don't know. And since I'm on the topic of officers, let's see. There was a former, I guess, Trump campaign manager or whatever, Brad Parscale. Okay, and Brad Parscale, I'm not sure what happened. I guess he had a mental breakdown. He had a standoff with the police. Okay, but I guess it was a domestic dispute, a domestic violence dispute, or something to the to that liking. And it got really bad. It got real messy. So um claiming, oh, I'm crazy or I'm depressed or whatever. I mean, I'm not a mental health specialist or whatever, but look, you did the crime, you did the crime, okay? You putting your hands on your wife or whatever. Because I saw this article and supposedly, I don't know. We'll let the justice system do what it does, but supposedly his wife had bruises on her, so looks pretty bad, man. And then another thing is, I think she said something on the police car or whatever, or the interview, that she believed that, like, I guess he shot a gun or something. There was a loud bang or something. So that was also taken into account on top of the fact that I think, what was it, Bragg Parscale was feeling suicidal or whatever. So, or implying that he was going to engage in self harm in some form or fashion. Um, so, I mean, look, okay, problems happen. Domestic disputes happen. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wives, they have disagreements or they have their fights or whatever. And, these things happen, you know. Um, but I just saw a whole bunch of these people on the right, or I don't know, alt right, fringe right, whatever the hell you call it. They were like, oh my God, how dare the officers? Oh, police brutality. It's the end of the world. Brad Parscale, the biggest victim in the world. And of course, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but yeah, I mean, some of these people were literally going ape shit crazy. Going ape shit crazy. And I'm like, damn. All homeboy did was tackle old boy down to the ground. That's all he did. He just tackled old boy down to the ground. And y'all have that amount of outrage. You got that amount of outrage. That's what black people are talking about right there. Right there. You see what I'm saying? And, looking at the video, after you have had a standoff with the police, simply saying, well, I'm your friend or whatever, even if you know the officer that's interviewing you or you're talking to or whatever, you really think that's going to work? You really think it's going to work when well, we're just friends. I'm your friend. They don't give a damn about that. They're on their job. You wait for them to go ahead and clock out and then y'all go grab a beer. Y'all be best buddies and friends or whatever. But there's a phone call. There's these certain conditions that are taking place. You're having a standoff with the police. Okay. And then the police officer is saying multiple times, get on the ground. So what do you want him to do? And see, I'm trying to be fair and balanced. I'm trying. Obviously, I'm not super wealthy or super politically connected with these high ranking members or whatever. But when the officer says, get on the ground, you get the hell on the ground. Period. Well, I didn't hear him or whatever. No, no, I don't want to hear that. That's an excuse. I'm capable of talking to other people, but if I hear somebody yelling at me, I can hear that. I can hear that, okay? So it is what it is, and let the justice system work itself out, and if he gets admitted to the hospital or whatever, he gets admitted to the hospital. And I guess I'll work that out, but look, if there are bruises or something that came out, look, nobody wants to hear me say it. I'm going to say it, though. He needs to be charged. He needs to be charged. It's okay to believe in a justice system, but it's another when you see a justice system that's literally two-tiered like that. Now I'm talking about, for example, Kyle Rittenhouse, video footage beaten on a woman. What the hell is that? And then, with Brad Parscale, okay, fine. You can admit yourself into the hospital or whatever. We're still going to charge you. Well, I was just so sad. Okay. People commit crimes all the time because of their feelings. Their feelings. But even so, and this is, if true, obviously I don't have all the details or whatever. But if the evidence shows such and such, yeah, you're guilty. You commit a crime, period. Well, my wife set me up. Okay, look, totally get it. People set each other up, whatever. You still did the crime. You still did it. You allowed yourself to be set up. Just like you didn't want to listen to the officer when he said, get on the ground, you get your ass on the ground. Now, after they detain you, or they arrest you, put cuffs on you, or maybe they just question you, yeah, you deal with that. Or, you take it up in court. That's what I hear for everybody else. So comply. It wasn't just a random little argument or whatever, from what I'm gathering with the information that I see. It got bad. The neighbors were alerted. So we'll see. Like I said, not necessarily trying to pick a side and say, oh, this person is innocent and this person is guilty. That's not the point. The point is, you know, weighing both sides of the argument. And then that's it. The justice system will take care of the rest. So yeah, what else is there to talk about? Really not too much to talk about, but the whole thing with Hollywood, these den of sexist, racist, pedophiles, and whatnot, they're not all bad. But there's a pattern that's clearly been established. This is where we continue to call out the left. Look, I don't think it's necessary, and I could be wrong. I don't think it's necessary to go ahead and victimize these little kids and victimize these women, even some men, sexually. You know how it goes. I don't think that all of that is necessary in order for you to roll out with your productions, in order to produce something, that's beautiful. in terms of a movie or a series, TV show, whatever. Very artistic. I don't think none of that's necessary. But yeah, obviously, there was something going on with Harvey Weinstein for many, many, many years, and it's wrong. It's just flat out wrong. A lot of people have been talking about it. Michelle Obama's, I guess, was best friends with Harvey Weinstein. Whoa. Look, it's one thing when you work with other people, you deal with good people, bad people, you deal with hardworking people, you deal with lazy people. You deal with hustlers, you deal with opportunists, you deal with straight up thieves that take everything, especially the women, right, Harvey Weinstein? Jeffrey Epstein. So don't be upset it came back to bit you in your ass. Don't be. What do you think it was going to do? This was just going to go on forever and ever? Zero repercussions? Oh, well, I know these people and I have this money and really? Since I'm on that topic, look, it's not anti-Semitic to criticize Harvey Weinstein or Jeffrey Epstein or George Soros. Okay, people on the right, and to imply that it is anti-Semitic to criticize certain individuals really points to one simple thing: you might be prejudiced. Because, I've done this little YouTube thing a while and the social media and, and all that. I've done this for a little while now. And if you actually look back on it, I'm calling out people left and right, different races. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Called out some Republicans, rhinos that y'all like to call them. I didn't like John McCain, keeping Obamacare in existence, just like I didn't like Obamacare. I didn't like what is it, George Bush running into, Afghanistan and all, the Middle East and all these endless wars. I didn't like that. So, regardless of party affiliation, I'm currently a Republican. I mean, look, it's fine. It's fine because that, if anything, might have messed up, foreign relations. I even dare say race relations. Running up into Afghanistan and the Iraq War and all that. I mean, damn, that really did. Because you have to take both sides into account. Both sides. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I guess this will conclude the first episode of Man in the Middle. So come for me. I already know what's coming. Let's go. Come for me. Find me right here. Last thing I'll say is I'm looking forward to this presidential debate. I think Joe Biden is going to get his ass whooped. Oh my lord. But we'll see what happens. Uh, in terms of the presidential debate, Joe Biden did not want to take a drug test. Jeez, that looks bad. The optics on that, huh? And I guess Joe Biden did not consent, or his campaign did not consent to having an earpiece check. So they'll get a little earpiece, they'll put it in their ear, and they can, certain people feed them lines or whatever topics to speak about in a presidential debate. Again, I say absolutely terrible optics. Terrible. It looks bad. But anyways, that's it. God bless you. I'll see you again. Oh, and one more thing. God bless America. Later.